I'm good. How are you this morning?
I'm fine. It is a beautiful day here. And how it is in
Oh,
Atlanta?
it's a little overcast, but I was out walking and it was really pretty. There's some pretty flowers out today.
Good to hear. Good to hear. Here is Ruth. Good morning, Ruth. How are you today?
I'm I'm good, thank you.
Good to hear your voice. How is the weather today?
Um, Sunny again.
Good. Good.
Yes, it's sunny again.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And
Uh,
today, yes. Yes, Jill, did you want to say something?
well, I just said hello to Ruth and hello, Felipe.
Hello, Jill.
Good morning, Felipe. I hope you can hear us. I hope you can hear Jill and Ruth. Today, I would like us to look at the blessing of the seed and what is the connection between the blessing of the seed and counting stars. If you have questions now, you can ask, and if not, we can pop into the whiteboard and see what is happening there.
Hello, good evening, Eti.
Good morning.
Ruth, you.
Good morning,
Hello.
Felipe. How are you today?
I'm fine, Eti, thanks. And how do you do?
I'm fine. I'm very happy to be here with you.
Yes, I am as well, Eti.
Thank you. So let's pop into the whiteboard and see what is happening there. Ruth, do you have an access? Here is Victoria. Good afternoon, Victoria. We're very happy that you're here. We're very happy to
Um,
see. Yes, Ruth?
no, I'm not. I haven't found out how to get onto the whiteboard, but I'm going to put the whiteboard on my iPad
Mm-hmm.
so I can see what's going on.
Yes. Or you can also see through YouTube if you have a PC, or through YouTube you can also access it. How do you wish to do it? It's fine.
Oh, I don't have a PC,
Okay, I understand.
so I use my phone to talk. I'm using my phone to talk to you,
Yes.
and then I can easily put you on the whiteboard on my YouTube on my iPad, right?
Thank you.
So on my YouTube on my iPad, right?
Thank you.
So
Thank you, Rose. Thank you so much. Here on the whiteboard, we have one chapter from The Little Prince, chapter 13. There is a beautiful dialogue between the man who is counting stars and the little prince. We shall read the text together and see what is the relation between this beautiful text and the blessing of the seed to Abram. So the question is, who would like to start? Here's Shelton. Good morning, Shelton. We're very happy that you're here. So the question is, who would like to start reading chapter 13 from The Little Prince? There are here 3 pages. We can share the reading. Who would like to start? And then we shall read the verse, ask the question, and see what is the relation between those two texts. So who would like to start reading chapter 13? This is page 1. I will focus the board on page 1. Who would like to read? Do you see the text clearly? Is it clear? The letters are clear?
I can see I'm clear. I could start if you would like me to.
Thank you, Jill. So please start.
Okay, chapter 13. The fourth planet belonged to a businessman. This man was so much occupied that he did not even raise his head at the little prince's arrival. Businessman. Good morning, the little prince said to him. Your cigarette has gone out. 3 and 2 make 5. 5 and 7 make 12. 12 and 3 make 15. Good morning. 15 and 7 make 22. 22 and 6 make 28. I haven't time to light it again. 26 and 5 make 31. Phew, phew, phew. I'm sorry, I can't even say that. I say that all the time. When I read it, I can't.
Mm.
Then that makes 501,622,731. 500 million what? Asked the little prince. Are you still there? 501 million. I can't stop. I have so much to do. I am concerned with matters of consequence. I don't amuse myself with balderdash. 2 and 5 make 7. 501 million what? Repeated the little prince, who never in his life had to let go of a question once he had asked it. The businessman raised his head. During the 54 years that I have inhabited this planet, I have been disturbed only 3 times. The first time was 22 years ago, when some giddy goose fell from goodness knows where. He made the most frightful noise that resounded all over the place, and I made 4 mistakes in my addition. The second time, 11 years ago, I was disturbed by an attack of rheumatism. I don't get enough exercise. I have no time for loafing. The third time, well, this is it. I was saying then 501 millions. Millions of what? The businessman suddenly realized that there was no hope of being left in peace until he answered this question. Millions of those little objects, he said. Which one sometimes sees in the sky? Flies? Oh no, little glittering objects. Bees? Oh no, little golden objects that set lazy men to idle dreaming. As for me, I am concerned with matters of consequence. There is no time for idle dreaming in my life.
Thank you so much, Jill.
Yeah.
Now, page 2, who would like to read?
You want me to continue?
Yes, if possible.
Okay. Ah, you mean the stars. Yes, that's it, the stars. And what do you do with the 500 millions of stars? 501,622,731. I'm concerned with matters of consequence. I am accurate. And what do you do with these stars? What do I do with them? Yes, nothing. I own them. You own the stars? Yes. But I have already seen a king who kings do not own, they reign over. It is a very different matter. And what good does it do what good does it do you to own the stars? It does me the good of making me rich. And what good does it do you to be rich? It makes it possible for me to buy more stars, if any are discovered. This man, the little prince said to himself, reasons a little like my poor tippler. Nevertheless, he still has some more questions. How is it possible for one to own the stars? To whom do they belong? The businessman retorted peevishly. I don't know, to nobody. Then they belong to me, because I was the first person to think of it. Is that all that is necessary? Certainly. When you find a diamond that belongs to nobody, it is yours. When you discover an island that belongs to nobody, it is yours. When you get an idea before anyone else, you take it out. You take out a patent on it. It is yours. So with me, I own the stars because. Sorry.
Here it is. I moved the text here.
Okay. Because nobody else before me ever thought of owning them. Yes, that is true, said the little prince. And what do you do with them? I administer them, replied the businessman. I count them and recount them. It is difficult, but I am a man who is naturally interested in matters of consequence. The little prince was still not satisfied. If I owned a silk scarf, he said, I could put it around my neck and take it away with me. If I owned a flower, I could pluck that flower and take it with me. but you cannot pluck the stars from heaven. No, but I can put them in the bank. Whatever does that mean? That means that I write the number of my stars on a little paper, and then I put this paper in a drawer and lock it with a key. And that is all? That is enough, said the businessman. It is entertaining, thought the little prince. It is rather poetic, but it is of no great consequence. On matters of consequences, the little prince had ideas which were very different from those of grown-ups. I myself own a flower. He continued his conversation with the businessman, which I waver every day. I own 3 volcanoes, which I clean out every week, for I also clean out the one that is extinct. One never knows. It is of some use to my volcanoes, and it is of some use to my flower that I own them, but you are of no use to the stars. The businessman opened his mouth, but he found nothing to say in answer, and the little prince went away. The grown-ups are certainly altogether extraordinary, he said, simply talking to himself as he continued on his journey.
Thank you so much, Jill. Thank you so much for reading.
You're
Now,
welcome.
thank you. Now, few questions, if I may. What is happening here between the man, the businessman, and the little prince? What is the conversation circling about? What is the perspective of the businessman? What is the perspective of the little prince? Shelton, Bruce, Rodrigo, good morning. Felipe. What is the perspective of the businessman? How he perceives the world?
When I was reading through it, it's almost as if he feels like he owns everything, is kind of how I kind of perceived it.
Yes, and the little prince offers a different perspective of owning. How does the little Nedelia, yes, Nedelia's thank you writing on YouTube as his own. Yes, how does the little prince sees owning in relation to how the businessman perceive owning? What is owning according to the understanding of the little prince? Rodrigo,
That
yes, yes,
it belongs to him and him alone.
yes. This is how the businessman thinks, that he owns the stars because he counts them and he writes the number of the stars on a little note. And the fact that he wrote numbers on a note, it means this is his own. But how is the little prince perceive owning? Very good, Jill.
I guess he thinks that to serve what his volcanoes and his flower. Yeah, I guess the fact that they need them, they need them.
Yes.
Is needed, right?
Yes, yes. The little prince is owning as relating. For the little prince to own the flower or the volcanoes, it means he is relating to them. He takes care of the flower, of the rose, and he takes care of the volcano. And this is what he calls consequence. Do we understand? In a way, the little prince has a relation of face to face. He takes care of the flower. He takes care. This is not in this chapter. He just summarized his thought to the businessman. He has a face to face relation with the flower, with the volcano. He takes care of them. While the businessman is just writing things down. This is why the little prince asks, what consequence? What comes out? Is there any fruit? We just write numbers down and forget what you wrote, and then you continue to count. This is the relation. Those are two different perspectives. The little prince has a relation of face to face. He is in relation with the world, while the men or the grown-ups or the adults, they have back-to-back relation to the world. They don't recognize anything. And with this perspective, I would like us to read one verse from Genesis 15, the blessing of the seed to Abram. We shall here move, see that little picture and the verse. And we need a volunteer to read the English verse or the Hebrew or both. Who would like to read the English here?
I'll read the English again.
Thank you.
And he brought him forth abroad and said, Look now toward heaven and count the stars, if thou be able to count them. And he said unto him, So shall thy seed be.
Thank you. What is here the focus of the conversation? God takes Abram out. And what does he ask from Abram? What is the request here?
For him to
To
count the stars.
to count the stars.
To count the stars. And God offers Abram to count the stars, and he said, if you're capable of counting the stars. Why did I bring those two texts together? The verse, the offering God offers to Abram to count the stars, and he also mentioned in his offer, if you could count the stars, and the text from the little prince. What do we have here? What is the difference between the businessman perspective who's counting stars and the conversations that God opens with Abraham? What is the difference between those two perspectives?
If I could say something,
Yes.
I think the businessman has a finite mind,
Yes.
but God is showing Abraham that he has an infinite, the mind is infinite.
Excellent.
He can't count them.
Excellent. And the proof is in the pudding, is in the letters. We see here the term in Hebrew, and count the stars. Usfor hakochavim, and count the stars if you could count them. The term and count the stars here in English or in Hebrew, this is 449. With additional one, this is 450 if we need a proof. 450 is like 45 Adam. Adam, human. In other words, humanity, or the sense of human in us, which means resemble to God, is infinite. Excellent. Questions and thoughts and impressions, please open a conversation, share what is happening in your heart. I shall be happy to hear you.
T,
Yes, good morning, Rodrigo.
morning, shalom to everybody. If I may make an observation, the word the stars in Hebrew,
Yes,
Kohavim,
yes,
has the value of 103. With the Kolel, we have the 104, and we have the 124 that you already know, and which is 4 times the tetragrammaton. So what Ruth said about the infinite perspective. I believe it's in these words we could see this infinite perspective of Abraham.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And Fernando, good morning. How are you today?
Shalom, Eti. Shalom,
Shalom.
friends. I'm sorry I'm adapting to the new time, so I couldn't join in the beginning of the class, but I was listening to what Ruth said and Rodrigo and this beautiful painting and these words. And Eti, I just want to add something to what
Yes.
Rodrigo just said
Yes.
about Kohavim.
Mm-hmm.
It is interesting also that the word star,
Yes.
it holds the kaf and vav,
Yes.
and it holds also the kaf and bet. So it holds the 26 and the 22. I know that is very abstract, but if we take the idea that to count the stars, we have the Hashem name and also the 22 letters. We could think that is the instrument that we have to be infinite, you know.
Yes. 26.
Because Hashem, it is never something material, you know. It is always something that leads us to the invisible world and to the abstract thinking. And the way is the 22 letters, you know. Just came this to me.
It is true, because conversation is not about, we can think it's like counting stars, like astronomy or astrology, because Abraham, he was a master in astronomy, and it's not so much about astronomy. It's about the stream that comes from the infinite. The word kohav, star, as Fernando says here, star, is composed of 4 letters. The first 2, kaf and vav, 26. This is the tetragrammaton. And the other 2 is kaf bet, is the 22 letters. It means we cannot count and we cannot portion the stream of consciousness. How do you say the stream of conscious? If I'm saying it right in English, I'm not sure. We cannot count or limit or portion what comes from the infinite to us as a recognition. Our recognition is not limited or infinite. Another idea to take into consideration, to count in Hebrew, lispo, here, lispo.
Yeah.
If we look at it, saf, without the resh now, without the r, so to speak, to put end, lasof, or to put end, to put an end. We cannot put an end. This is, the letters themselves are saying end. What does it mean to count? To put end to something. It is impossible to put end to something because everything is infinite. This is the idea. Yes, Fernando?
Yeah, it's one.
Yes.
idea. Is that these roots sefer also we have to count,
Mm-hmm.
but to count numbers or to count a story, right? And like Feinreb says, speaks that a book is sefer, a story could utilize the same root. And when we think about Abraham, the first book of the tradition of this this hidden wisdom is the Sefer Yetzirah.
Yes.
And in the very first verse of the Sefer Yetzirah, that is attributed to Abraham, he uses this word a lot because he says that with 3 books, Sefarim,
Mm-hmm.
with text, Sefer,
Mm-hmm.
with number, Sefar, and with
Mm-hmm.
communication, Sipur,
Yeah.
he created the world. So we have it all just in this verse, the 26, the 22, and how it is manifested. Is manifested through the Sefer, through the Sefirah, or through the books, or through storytelling.
Yes. Yes. It is very interesting that you raise this topic because Sefer, those 3 letters, Sefer, which is a book, they have a value of 340. Let's check. Sefer, we have 60, we have 80, and here we have 200. This is 340. Like the word Shem, name. So what happens when we read a book? Now it doesn't matter in which language. We have illumination of the name. The name manifests itself through the letters. And whenever we read a book, we connect to the name or to the spirit which is hovering upon the face of the water. Questions so far or ideas that you'd like to share? Now, why is it so important for God to introduce? Philip is writing, thoughts are one thing that we cannot stop. Excellent, Philip, on YouTube. Now, let's continue and read the verse, because God says, if you could count them, so shall seed, so thou the seed shall be. Why does God connect those 2 things? What is the meaning of a seed in Hebrew? Or what does it mean in general, a seed? And why does God connect the counting or the inability to count stars with the blessing of the seed that he guarantees to Abram? What is happening here? Yes.
Seed is Zera, right?
Seed is, yeah.
Your seed.
Yes.
The last word.
Yes. Zera. Zera is a seed. Very good. Zera is a seed. Seed. Yes. And what is the connection between seed and inability to count the stars? What is the connection?
We could think about Ezer, maybe.
Ezer.
A help.
Yes. Ezer, if we write the same letters of a seed in a different order, we get Ezer. Ezer is a help. Yes, Ezer. Have you heard that if people count something, it does not carry a blessing? Have you heard that some people?
Yes. Yes. The
Yes.
blessing is cannot be counted, right?
Yes, the blessing cannot be counted. And here we find already the first relation. Here he says, if you could count. Since it's impossible to count, so shall be your seed. Ko, ko, ko is so. Ko has the value of 25. Ko. Sorry, this is a very thick pen. I'll make it thinner. Ko is 25. This is Hey is 5. Kaf is 20. 25. The square root of 25 is 5. The temple. Meaning infinite. The hand, the divine hand, is open and it is boundless. Your seed, your help is boundless. Questions so far? Shelton, Ruth, Rodrigo, Jill, Felipe, Fernando, would you like to say something? Natalia, Victoria, ask, maybe you would like to move to a new topic. It is possible.
Just while you were showing the number 5, I remembered the letter He,
Yes.
which is given to Abram, for him to spread or to manifest his seed and in an infinite way.
This is
yes, with the full hand potential and 1 to 4.
excellent, because this is what the Zohar says. The Zohar says about the word ko, so shall be your seed, is here in these words. God already sees in his mind that later in time the letter He shall be given to Abram and to his wife. Avram, this is his name at this conversation, but later his name shall be Abraham with the letter He. Let's make it red. Where's the red? Or any other color to see. This is here. Very good, Felipe. This is what the Zohar says. I will move to a thinner pen. 1 second. Here, this is the He. This is the full hand perspective. The He shall be given to him later and to his wife Sarah. She also will have the letter He. Yes. In a way, to put an end to something is not 5, in other words. Whenever we see the number 5, the direction of the 5 is the full hand perspective or the temple or the infinite. Thank you, Felipe. We have people are writing on YouTube. Maybe Fernando, would you like to read here, please? People are writing comments. Do you see YouTube, Fernando?
Yes.
Yeah.
So Grace said, I once had a dream. I saw seeds bearing my name being sowed. What could that be? And her name is Grace.
Yes.
So beautiful.
Grace is like God says that the world is standing on, comes from grace. Chesed olam yibaneh. The world is evolving around grace. Without grace, the world would not stand one split second. This is what it means, chesed. And also, chesed and grace is associated with Abraham and
Yeah.
the one day in which the light is about the light which was said by Yehi Or, and there was light, and shall be light, and there was light. This is grace. Excellent grace. And
And
yes,
I'm
Fernando.
sorry,
Yes,
but I was in my mind just thinking about this, looking at this picture that you brought,
yes,
that the book of Zohar said that this world endure only thanks to Abraham, because he represents the right hand, and we can see the right hand standing with a stick that could represent the letter Vav, right? And the right hand is Chesed.
yes,
So,
yes. It's excellent what you're saying, Fernando. The stick in Hebrew, mate, 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 mate chesed. He's always, how do you say, because we can turn the stick either left or right. The quality of Abraham is mate chesed. Everything he's turning into grace. Mate, mate, chesed. Always he's turning to the right, to grace. Excellent. Excellent. Yes, and Philip is writing. Fernando, can you please read? Philip is writing on YouTube.
Philip said, "You are best to try and understand your dreams because are given to you according to what knowledge you have in your mind. The Spirit will you only what is already in your mind to tell you something."
Thank you. Questions? Yes.
Just one comment that came to me is that once we already talked about the covering of the bread, as the bread means chesed, also means the quality of grace, and we should cover the grace. And it's interesting because a seed needs to be covered so it could be a blossom into a plant and so on. It's very beautiful because it makes me think about this quality of grace that Abraham, it's the only one who is capable to spread this grace, and and it's just a relation.
It is beautiful what you're saying because grace could not be revealed. Counting is, in a way, revelation. It's like exposition. And grace, in a way, is hidden. And it is beautiful what you were saying.
If I may share just a little story I heard. It's very short. Actually, I heard by a friend in Zohar sessions we are doing, and it is related to it. It's like when you have a basket of fruits or anything. If you count them, you know exactly what you have. You have, let's say, 10 oranges. You can be satisfied because you are a rich man. You have 10 oranges. But if we do not count them, we have a basket full of oranges, and nobody knows how many oranges we have. I was thinking about this since we begin the session, because this full potential it is meaning that we cannot count. Abraham even only Abraham could count, because, as Ruth said in a magnificent way, I thank her for that. He has this infinite mind, so we could only count stars with infinite mind, with love and grace inside of our hearts. And he has this quality of chesed. So thank you, and it's really beautiful, this passage. Thank you, Eti.
You're most welcome. Questions or thoughts that you would like to share with us?
I was thinking as the sharing and the words that you shared today, Etty, that a couple things. I was thinking in terms of the counting about how the 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 word Yohevave is a kind of refusal to attempt to control the creator, and by extension that which is created. Also, indigenous cultures often see themselves as part of the natural world, as stewards of everything around them, not to control it, but to care for and live in harmony with their surroundings. And finally, you were talking about the complexity of our world and universe, and someone recently said to me that the human brain, many scientists have concluded that the human brain is more complex in itself that we have in our brains than the galaxies and all the stars in heaven. So, just some thoughts.
Thank you so much, Sheraton. Jill, would you like to say something?
No, I was still thinking about at the very beginning of the conversation when you were talking about face to face,
Yeah.
owning as relating, um, and kind of what Shelton was saying. There's more of a like taking care and being in a relationship versus um, you know, being like you said, he was owning the stars. Like, he wasn't really in a relationship. I was just
Jill, can you repeat? Because the voice was cut.
okay, I'm sorry. I was just saying, I was just kind of thinking about that as far as the owning as related. Um, there's more of, and just because uh, I guess more of a responsibility versus owning something. Just like a love and responsibility to care for it.
Yes, yes. It is beautiful because, in a way, this chapter, the relationship here in the conversation between the businessman who counts stars and the little prince is the Lord that the sages are telling us about the creation of the world. At the beginning, there was a world, but there was no relation, and the world was destroyed, and God made a new creation. In the new creation, people were managing to turn and to be in relation of face to face with the creation. The biblical story starts with Adam and Eve. Adam and Eve ate it from the tree of knowledge, and as a consequence, there was a split. And after 20 generations from Adam, 20 is also associated with the letter Kaf. After 20 generations, Kaf, 20, comes Abraham, and with Abraham, the new world is being built. Behi Baram. Remember, Fernando? Behi Baram. Behi Baram.
Yes.
Don't read as they were created, but Be Avraham. Be Avraham, through Abraham, through the quality of Abraham, I build the world as Grace dream. With the seed of grace. With the seed of grace, I can build a new world, a perfect world. With Adam, it was different. With Adam, there was a relation of the businessman. He's counting, he's owning. Once a person knows he can calculate, the frontal mind can calculate like a computer. He is enchanted. And this is in a way the destruction of the world, or controlling people or quartered. Once a person understands he can count, he understands that he can control. And here comes a different attitude. The greatest man, Abraham, he came from a place when everybody were worshipping stars, counting stars. Astronomy was a great science. And now let me enter Philon perspective. Philon perspective about Abraham and astrology, and we discussed this. Astrology is, not astrology, but astronomy is one of the seven, so to speak, wisdoms of the world. And God says to Abraham, go out of this worldly thinking. I want to show you something beyond the worldly thinking. Takes him out. Out, not just out of the house to see the night with the stars. Take him out of his mindset. We can grow as humans if we are exposed and we are open to different mindsets. Then we can grow. And this is what God is offering Abraham. Infinite grow. Infinite openness. And as Philon, and let's again take the perspective of Philon, Abraham in us is a person who always learns, always open, always go for the unknown, always look at life with grace, with infinite love and grace. This is Abraham in us. And with this attitude, or the right hand or the right arm, as Fernando mentioned, with this attitude we can build world. Do you see the question is, yes, who is that, Fernando?
No, please continue.
The question is, can we see each and every one of us can see Abraham inside of him, or can see the Abraham inside of himself or herself? Infinite learner, infinite openness, go for life, go for grace, whatever happens to go, continue. And then there's come also the blessing of the seed. So shall be your seed. Yes, Fernando.
So beautiful, Etienne, and so many ideas came. And I was thinking about what Shelton said, also making this relation with the human brain. And the main idea that is on my mind is the importance of connection. You know, Also in our human brain, to develop it, it's necessary the language, and it is necessary to be in community and to be with another humans, you know,
Yes.
because if a man was left in the jungle, let's say, he will not develop as with a full potential. You know, we need each other. We
Yes.
need to be in relationship with another persons, and it is needed to be like almost infinite, not only with a little circle. You know.
Yes, yes, yes. This is it. Always open to new people. Always. New perspectives. Yes.
Eti,
Yes.
in this the same line of Fernando and you and Shelton talk about. I just read the expression "count the stars." We already talked about this expression, but the word counting that we associate with Sefer, there is the same letters of the word um, Sipur, which is story or tale.
Yes.
Sipur, and the word star in the singular, uh, we have kaf vav and kaf bet, we have the value of 48, which is mind, moach.
Excellent.
Uh, so these stories, these tales, we need to be open to this dialogue, and open to offer to our mind these tales, these stories, always news. And so we need to be open to listen and to have this uh, eternal dialogue that we already talked about. So I believe that we could uh, do this association with the word counting and tails, and the word star with the mind more.
Excellent. Excellent. The value of star, because the conversation is again not about physical stars. Kohav. Kohav is a star in English, but its value in Hebrew is 48, like moach, like mind. In other words, God is saying to Abraham, if you can count the mind, can you limit the mind? And the answer is simple, no. It's infinite. The human mind is infinite.
What is interesting about what you said and what Fernando said and added to the conversation is that scientists have found that the human brain, with the different connections, is always growing. The synapses within our brain does not stop; it continues to grow. We continue to make new connections within the brain itself. The other thing I wanted to add to the conversation is that there scientists have also done studies on people who live long lives, and they found that people that, first of all, we are at heart, we are social beings. Humans are social beings, and that they found that people who have relationships with other human beings will tend to live longer. And moreover, they found that if a person has a relationship with another sentient being, even if it's not a human, for example, a dog or a cat or a pet hamster, those persons also will live longer lives than those who are completely isolated.
Excellent, excellent. It's true because they're turning. It's like the little prince, he is turning. This is why the sages say, Matzah Isha, Matzah Tov, meaning he found a woman, he found good. What does it mean? Woman is also in general, it's the whole creation is a feminine, is woman. So, what does it mean to find a woman is to find a turning. And some people, yes, they're found friends to live in life. Some people are turning into pets or everything. It's just to turn with the heart towards the creation. And here is Daniel. I'm very happy to see you, Daniel. Shining star. Very happy to. Daniel from Atlanta. Jill. Daniel Osborne. Thank you, Daniel. Yes. So to find a place that we can turn into. Place is not just a physical, it's also to cultivate a garden or a flower pot, but place is a space in another human being that we can turn to. And the more we turn to other humans, the more we amplify the infinite love which is already existing. We just, in a way, we're just a, how do you say, a canal. We just, by not blocking, and this is it, by not blocking the communication, we are enabling infinite stream of love through us to the whole universe. It is very important to stream this love, not to block it. And once this is happening, miracles are happening. And this is why we find in Genesis 2, this is the generations, Ele toldot hashamayim, this is the generations of heavens, Behi Baram, as they were created, and the sages are saying, Be Avraham, in Abraham, with this quality, I build worlds. I build the world with this quality. And the quality is within us. Why Be Avraham? Avraham, with the Hey of the full hand perspective, is 248. 248 has the same value as B'Tselem Elohim, in the image of God. In the image of God, in Hebrew, B'Tselem Elohim also has 248. Why do we say those are the generations, or these are the generations? Because once we have the image of God, B'Tselem Elohim, new generation can come. There is a generation of spirit. Everything can be born. Question? Yes? Yes.
It makes me remember about one quote that you put on Discord this week about Baal HaSulam, that speaks that about that verse, the whole earth is full of His glory, and he sustained that everybody could make the connection with the Creator, with Hashem. It is like everybody has a treasure in his pocket. It's
Yes.
the expression he uses. But most of the people are not aware. It is about connection as well, it is, or you have the connection and you are, like Felipe said about the full of fruits, the basket full of fruits, or you have the connection and are amazed with the creation, or you are not aware, you are sleeping. It is something like this.
Yes. Yes. Thank you so much. I would like to thank all of you for participating in this live stream, and I would like to wish you a very beautiful weekend and Shabbat Shalom and most wonderful summer or winter, depends on the hemisphere. And we could meet here at the same time on Monday next week. And until then, thank you so much, so much.
It was amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you, friends.
Thank you, Ati. Thank you, everybody. Shalom, shalom.
Shalom, shalom. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you,
Bye.
Thank
Ruth.
you, my
Shalom.
friend. Shalom.
Thank you so much. Venus, Philip, Daniel, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. We'll see tomorrow, Eti.
Tomorrow, on Monday, we shall meet. On Monday. And
on Monday,
on Monday,
not
and
tomorrow.
not tomorrow, and we shall regulate the summer or the winter mode slowly. We shall find a balance again, because we came from a period and we built slowly a new period with the tree, with more streams in Portuguese, and I would like to see how it is developing, and to leave you enough time to be creative.
Okay. Great.
Yes,
See you on Monday.
yes. See you on Monday. Yes. Shalom, shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom.